Welcome to the channel. Now, we always get requests sent to us about topics that you guys want us to cover. One of the more frequent topics revolves around the flivver car. The what, you say? Well, we've mentioned it a few times in previous episodes, but this will be the first time that we devote an entire video to this wonderfully bizarre Volkswagen-powered kit car. So your first question is probably, well, why is it called a flivver car? The term flivver, F-L-I-V-V-E-R, originated in the early 20th century as an American slang term for an automobile, specifically for a Model T. The simple definition for flivver is a cheap car, and that's what Model Ts were, affordable cars built for the masses. While most people know the Model T's nickname as the Tin Lizzie, people of the day also called it a flivver. So, using it in a period-correct sentence, let's give it a try. Ah, that splifficated Weisenheimer is the first in town to buy a flivver. Horse feathers. He has no money. Only a butter and egg man can afford such a luxury. He is a gas. Anyways, where the word came from isn't really known, but it became so well known with Ford Motor Company that when Henry Ford was developing a personal plane in 1926, he called it the Air Flivver. It never made it off the ground, and Ford's personal test pilot was killed in a test run. Perhaps that's where the term flivver changed from being synonymous with Model Ts to being a reference to something cheaply made. So why did they name this particular kit car the flivver car? Well, we don't know for sure, but if we were to give it a guess, we'd say it's probably because it was a cheap way to perform stunts with kit without them having to damage any of the Trans Ams they had on hand. Remember, TAs were in short supply on the Knight Rider set during the first season, so they needed to do everything they could to keep the cars in good working order. Alright, so we've given you the history of the word flivver, but what exactly was the flivver car as used in the production of Knight Rider? Simply put, it was a Dune Buggy style chassis with off-road suspension and a roll cage, powered by a rear-mounted Volkswagen engine. A Trans Am body made out of rubber was then placed over the Dune Buggy to give this off-road jump car the overall appearance of kit. Sort of. Don't look too closely or you'll notice a riveted-on acrylic front windshield and a wheelbase that's much narrower than a factory Trans Am, and a lot of other things. The production made a number of Trans Am body shells out of both rubber and fiberglass to place both on the flivver car and on the Trans Ams to help reduce damage to the cars. These shells required at least 4 people to put on and take off of the cars due to their size and weight. From what we can tell, George Barris's shop was responsible for making a mold of the Trans Am, a giant one-piece mold seen here, and he was also responsible, we think, for casting the copies. The KITT flivver car made its debut in the pilot of Knight Rider when KITT jumped over some cars at the Demolition Derby. It went on to be used in a total of 19 episodes, 12 in the first season, 4 in the second season, and 3 in the fourth season. It actually wasn't used at all in Season 3. And if you think about it, the reason they used it so heavily in Season 1 is because they only had 4 Trans Ams for the majority of Season 1, so they had to preserve those cars. And exactly how much screen time did the flivver car get? 77 seconds in the entire series. That's it. And here are the episodes it was used in. The Pilot, Good Day at White Rock, Just My Bill, Not a Drop to Drink, Trust Doesn't Rust, The Final Verdict, Forget Me Not, The Topaz Connection, A Nice Indecent Little Town, White Bird, Nobody Does It Better, Short Notice, Brother's Keeper, Blind Spot, Return to Cadiz, Nightmares, Night of the Juggernaut, The Scent of Roses, and out of the woods. Stay tuned later in this video where we will show you a montage of the Flivver car's stunts in the series. So what happened to the Flivver car when the show ended? Well, we can tell you that the body and the chassis went their separate ways. In 1988, the chassis was parked along a street with a for sale sign on it. You can see that it still has Kitt's turbocast rims and even his fog lights. It was most likely sold around this time, but has since disappeared completely. As for the rubber and fiberglass shells, well, we do know that a lot of them were scrapped along with the Knight Rider cars in 1987. For the full story on that event, check out our video on the crushing of the Knight Rider cars. There's a link below in the description. One shell did survive as late as 2006 when a Knight Rider fan snapped this photo in North Hollywood, California. Unfortunately, it too has since disappeared. So while the Flivver car wasn't a full-blown Trans Am, it did provide a very important role in the series. The use of this car actually helped to save the real Trans Ams from being damaged or destroyed when the show was on the air. So in honor of the Flivver car, let's take a look at this compilation video showing all 77 seconds of the car in its glory. Alright, well, we've covered a number of original Knight Rider vehicles on this channel. The Semi, Goliath, the Convertible, the Super Pursuit car, the original Hero car. Which car should we cover next? Let us know in the comments below. Look, we know you have a lot of options for your Knight Rider entertainment needs, and we appreciate you choosing us. Thanks, and we'll talk to you next time.
And now, while we listen to Joe's selection of Knight Rider music that we received directly from Don Peake himself, we'd like to thank these Patreon supporters. Look at you guys scrolling up the screen to my right. Wait a minute, how can you tell which side is my right, since you can't see me because I'm not on camera? Oh well, you know what I mean. We're featuring these fine supporters at our Knight Rider Prop Restorer level. Thank you very much for your support. And for those of you at the Knight Rider History Hunter level, we're recognizing you right now in the description. Now, if you enjoyed seeing this golden nugget of Knight Rider history being rescued from obscurity, then please consider supporting us on Patreon. Your support would empower us to bring you even more of these historical nuggets. We are the Knight Rider Historians. Till next time, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.